Hey guys, how are y'all doing today? We're live again. We're going to play Viva Pinata again. And one other thing that's a little bit different than last week is I've got my friend Landon here with me. Landon, if you want to say hello and introduce yourself since you didn't join us last week. Oh, hang on. It's not. Sorry. It wasn't doing your audio. Let me fix that real quick. Uh, Hold up. Okay, talk again. It should work now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yay! All right, so I am Landon from Karen and Landon's Cafe. I am an RPer, a writer, college student, and an avid Harry Potter fan. That's basically all you need to know me.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Landon. So the reason why she's here is one, of course, so that we can chat with me, so that we're going to kind of play this game together and talk together. But what she's also doing is in my Discord. So if you're in my Discord, and Landon, you're welcome to share a link to the Discord kind of while we're talking about this for anybody that's not. But if you are in the Discord, you're welcome to come in there. And if you'd like to come onto the stream and talk with me about anything in relation to like role play questions or writing questions or stuff like that, we can chat about it on stream. Oh, sorry, I will fix that, Lightning. Thank you so much. So if you guys would want to come in the Discord and talk to us about some of your role play questions, I know for a lot of people, chatting in the Discord sometimes is a little bit difficult because their Discord name is so intrinsically tied to what they do for their role playing and writing, and so it's not very anonymous, right? Like it's a little bit scary. But if you'd like a little bit more of an anonymous way, then you're welcome to come on the stream and talk to me. Just DM her. Her name is Landon in the cafe, so she can set you up so that you can actually talk to me via voice, and we won't reveal who you are, so you can ask your questions a little bit more anonymously. Also, I'm happy to answer questions today if you have anything for me. So feel free, of course, in the chat. That's fine as well. Okay. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and get our game started here.
Yay!
So this was the first time that you have seen this game, right, Landon?
Yeah, I'll be completely honest. I am not an avid gamer, or like an avid watcher of streams. I have like Sims on my PS4 and Kingdom Hearts, so that's about my extensive knowledge as far as like gaming goes.
Well, hey, those are
So
valid games. There's nothing wrong with those.
yeah, they're a lot of fun. Two vastly different games. If we're gonna go like story building and all of that with Kingdom Hearts, and then you have Sims, which you actively try to make characters die and or survive, depending on how you want to do it.
I mean, what else do people do in The Sims, right?
Yeah, that is true.
All right.
Although I have built an entire world based off of the Hogwarts founders.
Oh
That
my
is my
gosh.
current game obsession. So, but watching Viva Pinata has been really cute, and I'm like, oh, this is a fun game.
I love this game. I was so obsessed with it when it first came out. So what I'm doing right now, just to kind of explain to you guys, is we've just not got a lot of room in this garden because because it's so small right now. So I'm selling some of the things that we've already gotten, a lot of the awards for, so that way. We have some more space. We'll get the worms that we just sold again later. So don't worry, we will have worms in the garden at some point soon. But just right now, we just need the space. We need the space. So I'm getting rid of some of these guys that we already kind of did the stuff for. I'm gonna do the same thing with the sparrows. So goodbye for now, sparrows. So sorry, but we need more space. Hey Ty, hey Marina, welcome back. So another thing for you guys to know is that, yeah, rip the wormy boys. Another thing for you guys to know is that Marina is going to help us out with some moderation. So if anything is going on in like the chat, that's another person you can kind of let know what's happening. Marina can help you out, or Landon can help you out with all that good stuff. They're managing the chat for us. I thought I had another sparrow as well, but I guess not. I think it's only this one. Okay, well, we're gonna sell you. Come here.
I can't remember the name of the seed like collector dude. but he is so cute.
It's the CDOS.
Yes, CDOS. The steampunk vibes I get from him are very, like, I appreciate it very much.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, he does kind of have steampunk vibes, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's an interesting mix of like gardener steampunk.
Oh my gosh, that's so accurate, and I didn't even really think about that. I think this Fuzzinch here is eating the candaries. I wonder if he needs anything else. Yeah, he needs a fir tree too, which we're not going to get for quite a while. So we probably should go ahead and sell these. That's your kitty cat?
Oh no, it was the police. I live on a main street.
Oh god.
Like, fun for middle of the night stuff. Woohoo!
Yay. Luckily, I'm like one street away from the main street, so hopefully you guys won't ever hear any crazy. There's the other experiment. Hopefully you guys won't ever hear any crazy amount of road noise, but I do get it sometimes, particularly ambulances, because we live so close to like where they turn to go to the hospital. We don't actually live that near the hospital, but it's a main turn that they'll take. So it's like sirens. It's like sirens all the freaking time. It's very annoying.
Yeah, it's for me. It's only in my bedroom, which is like my back room. And as I was explaining to Karen before we got on live, that this is the only room with air conditioning, and it's supposed to be 90 degrees outside. So I'm like, okay, I guess I have to live with the background noise for today.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I can't. I don't know, Landon, if you've been keeping up with this, but I'll kind of retell this story. We recently had our air conditioner, like, it broke. I'm sure you remember, like, me complaining about that when it first happened. But it broke recently, and we had to, like, buy a whole new unit, which we knew when we bought this house that was going to be something that we had to deal with. The air conditioning unit, we're pretty sure, was the original unit that was on the house when it was built in the 80s, so we were like, there's only so much longer it's going to last. So what we did is we replaced it with a pretty nice unit, and oh my gosh, air conditioning units have gotten fancy. This thing is so cool. It dehumidifies.
It dehumidifies. Do you want sub-zero temperatures?
I mean, it can't really do sub-zero temperatures in South Carolina, but probably it could in most climates. Just it's probably like just too hot here. But yeah.
Which is like, it's even a bigger deal for you guys to get a decent air conditioner, because in other places, like I'm up in Maine, whatever, I can live through a hot summer, but you guys have it pretty rough.
It's all the time. It's all the freaking time. You know, it never ends. It never ends. How hot it is here. Although it's been kind of cold recently, which has been, it's been really surprising for June, how cold it's been.
Well, if you would like to have our weather, I'll take yours. Although
oh my god, no.
Weather, considering that it's warm and hot to you.
Oh my gosh, no thank you. We don't get snow very often here. We get it maybe once every several years. Like, it's just not, it's not that often. So yeah, no thank you. I definitely do not want the snow.
Fine, I guess I'll keep that part.
Alright, so what I'm doing, guys, is I just built the Serapent house because it looks like we're still waiting for another mouse mallow to join. I was going to go ahead and breed the mouse mallows, but obviously we only have one, so I can't do that. So once we have another one join, we'll breed the mouse mallows. But for right now, we're just gonna build the Serapent house and see what we can do for those guys. I think, let me just make sure of what he needs. I think he has to eat one of the toads. Yeah, so we're going to dig some water. We're going to dig some water now that we can do that with our shovel. All right. Let's see who all is hanging out. So I see Ty in here. I see Marina in here. And as you guys can see, I've got the chat working. So, you know, as you want to talk, you're welcome to, and it'll pop up on screen. So unlike the first, you know, VOD that we did, you'll actually be able to follow the conversation. So, you know, I think I've got a lot more things working now. I'm still figuring out this stream thing. Like, I'm such a boomer in that way.
How dare you not know everything right off the bat?
I know, right? I know, right? But when I was growing up, there was no such thing. You know what I mean? Like, YouTube didn't even really come along until I was in college. So it's just like the idea of like sitting and streaming yourself was something that, like, the internet can't do that. The internet can barely handle videos, you know? So, hey, Marina. Okay, I can't remember exactly how much water the toads need, so I'm just gonna dig out kind of a sizable pond here, and hopefully one will show up, and then I'll be able to take a look. Cause I can't. Well, let's go look. This was a week ago, so obviously I don't remember. But let's go see if I actually saw one at all. So maybe it'll tell me how much water I need. Let's see. He's on the next page. So I did. Okay, so we need 10 square petameters of water. Okay, so this isn't something that I showed last time, but you can actually see how much of your garden is whatever type of terrain. So let's go back, and it's on, let's see, Tool Awards. It's not here. I think it's on the previous screen. Yeah, so garden area. So it wanted 10, so that's only 2. Oh my gosh, and I only have like 25 to work with. We're gonna have to dig a lot of water. My modem impression. Oh my god. Yeah, the dial-up modems back in the day, they were so freaking loud. Oh my god. Do you remember the AOL sound?
I do vaguely. Dial-up is slightly too old for my like active memory. Sorry. I remember it like at my grandparents' house more actively than at my own house.
Oh my gosh, because they probably took forever to upgrade, right?
Oh yeah, forever. And because why would they need to? They literally were just sending emails to each other, and like by the time I feel like they upgraded their computers, they already had cell phones that could do the same thing. Like it was around that same time.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But I remember that sound is like instant nostalgia because of that, just remembering my grandparents' house.
That's so funny. Yeah, my grandparents, they got a computer pretty early on. I mean, they're academics, so they were kind of on the up and up, but the thing that lost to them, okay, let me put this away. Please eat the pumpkin. Yeah, there we go. Yay, so we got him now. What I was saying was for my grandparents, they were pretty on the up and up at that point, but then whenever social media came along, they got totally left behind, right? So they never really fully understood social media. So if you want to contact them like electronically, you still have to email them, which is so weird to me. It's so weird because nobody else wants emails. They all want like IMs and stuff.
It's very interesting because I had 2 very different like sets of grandparents. So on my dad's side, they were old school, never really got a cell phone, still had like the cord phones on the walls.
Oh, wow.
Like and then my grandfather on my mom's side immediately took to like Apple and Mac and was like god at Excel sheets and was all for social media and everything like that. There was really no age difference. It was just the different personalities. It was very interesting.
Oh my gosh, that's too funny. That's too funny. Yeah. Oh gosh, what is that? Oh yeah, we got the expansion. Yes, so we have one more expansion we're gonna get. But there we go. Okay, we got a much bigger garden now. Thank freaking God. I hate having to deal with the tiny garden, but that means more soil whacking, guys. So let's get to it. This is the tedious part of these games, but I still love them. I still love these kind of games. To me, the tedium is like part of the fun, which I know sounds super weird, but that's how it is. And yeah, Ty, what you said before. Sorry, I wanted to comment on what Ty said real quick. Yeah, I think you and I, Ty, we're in a similar age bracket, so you probably have similar memories to me in that regard. Okay, sorry, go ahead, Landon.
Oh no, I was going to say it's kind of, they do a really good job of making it realistic to gardening because gardening in itself is very tedious.
Oh yeah?
Seeing growth. And then it's like, oh yeah, so it makes it feel like you're really gardening.
Oh my gosh, new cat. Sorry, I love this one. He's one of my favorites. He's so cute.
I like the goth vibes.
Yeah, when they're black and white, they look really cool. Unfortunately, there's not like a way in the game to keep them black and white in the garden, but the some of the versions of the black and white ones look really neat. But as you might be able to guess, is one of my favorite ones. In addition to it being squeaky, which I like, it's pink. Whenever it joins up the garden, it's pink. So bonus points for that.
Oh, well, we know that that's part of your favorite aesthetic. So,
Oh my God, yeah.
peace out. Bye-bye.
For real. So I don't really know much about gardening. When I was a kid, we did do flowers. We did do a lot of flower gardening, and I was responsible for like watering it. It was really my mom's though, like 'cause I didn't really know what I was doing. Right? I went and watered the flowers when mom told me to. I couldn't have told you when I should have watered them versus when not to. But I never got into it myself as an adult. But I do remember it taking for freaking ever to water all the flowers, and it was not a favorite chore.
It's definitely not one of my favorite chores. However, I really enjoyed seeing as the pandemic that is happening around the world has grown, especially in the United States. It went from like baking to gardening. Every single millennial, it feels like, is now gardening. And I'm like, yeah, I don't understand it, but I'm glad that people are doing it.
Oh my gosh, so true. Oh, I shouldn't have put away my shovel. That is so true. Like my entire timeline on Facebook is filled up with people that are like, "Oh, I tried this new recipe," or "Look, I installed above ground a vegetable garden. I finally made the box for it," or stuff like that. Stuff that like people you can tell people have been wanting to do for a while, but they just never got around to it. So that is kind of nice that the pandemic's letting people do some of that, like a little silver lining there, that people are getting a
Oh,
chance for those things.
100%. And it's fun seeing what other people do with it. I just find it hysterical that it's like this mass movement of being like, we're all gonna do sourdough starters, and now we're all gonna plant tomatoes.
Oh my gosh. A fresh tomato though is so good. The store, you never know if it's the tomato's going to be any good.
Yeah, I like the little like bite-sized tomatoes. I can't remember what they're called right now,
Oh,
but
the
they're
cherry
so
tomatoes.
cherry tomatoes. Just like take it off the vine and just eat it right there. It's perfect.
Yeah. So, Ty, your comment, a lot of people are realizing they enjoy a slower paced life. I definitely enjoy a slower paced life. My work is starting to, talk about going back, and we're supposed to be doing that kind of soon, really in the next couple of weeks. There's a whole like process to it that I won't go into because it's whatever, and that's for my day job. But I'm kind of not wanting to. I'm really enjoying working from home. I'm enjoying the lifestyle of that, and everything's going much slower now that you kind of can't go out, right? So as much as I miss certain aspects, there's a lot of things that I kind of like about this, and I wish it was more the norm to be able to do things from home more.
I hope that's something that we take out of this. That when life starts going back to quote unquote normal, that people can still enjoy that slower pace, because I think there was so
Yeah.
much like, stigma about it before all this, and now I think everyone's like, no, it's pretty dope.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I know that that's the case when it comes to working. Ah, yes, we got one, so we can breathe the syrup hints. He's gonna get eaten very soon. Sorry, Toad, you are not long for this world. But I definitely think that's the case with work. I feel like a lot of managers really believe that, like, if you're not in the office, you're not working, which is not true. I don't know anyone that's true for.
I know for some people there's a good like reason to have separation between workspace and life space,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why they can't be successful at home. But it doesn't just because you're home doesn't automatically mean that you're not doing the work. I think it also shows how much busy work a lot of people still have in their careers.
Oh my God, yeah.
Because my friend who's working from home can get done the stuff that she would do in the office and prolong it out a week. She can get it done in 3 days.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, and it's because that's just how it works. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
hopefully this opens things up to some people.
yeah, I definitely think that's true. I think a lot of jobs are a lot of busy work. I know that there's a lot of stuff that I do that's like my job that's very like logistical. I don't feel like I have a lot of busy work, but I do feel like this kind of new normal has been. Oh, why did that happen? Leafos, you walked right over it. Let's try that again. I know a lot of the stuff that's really helped me with this sort of new normal is that people are more willing to answer the phone. Whereas I feel like it was pretty normal because you could just walk up that if people didn't feel like answering the phone, they wouldn't because they'd be like, oh, they'll just come to my desk if it's actually important, which is true because that's what I do. I just get up and walk to their desk, which I can't do anymore. But now people actually answer the phone, which it's crazy like how much time that saves, like a minute here, a minute there. And that I'm really appreciating a lot.
Yeah, I agree. And just having like it not feel like someone's looking down like the back behind your back looking down at you constantly working also just allows for freedom. I like what Ty just said too, is that people are angry and that like there was an article about the new normal shouldn't stay, and that basically boiled down because change is bad and I don't like it.
Oh my God,
um,
I hate that
I
argument.
feel that so much, but that is such an argument that people use all the time.
Uh
And
huh.
it's like,
But it's a change and that makes me uncomfortable, or but tradition, or but we've always done it this way. Like those are just wrong. They're just wrong. That's not a reason for something.
I agree. Although people like what they like, and I can understand that. But I think we all learned from the great Dr. Seuss that just because green eggs and ham sound weird doesn't mean it is weird.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe it's fine. Maybe it's totally fine, and you just need to try it, or you just need to get over it if other people like it and you don't. That's what it is. I think another thing that I really hope stays after this is some of the stuff in regards to the masks. Not all of it. Like right now, we're needing to wear masks kind of everywhere, and that's for this particular situation that we're dealing with. But I kind of hope that after this, we carry. Ah, there he is. Sorry, I was looking for the lickatoad so the snake could eat this one too. But I'm hoping that the mask stays as far as like when you're sick, you wear a mask out so that you don't get other people sick. I think we're very flippant, at least in the US. I can only speak for the southern United States, right, where I've lived. We're very flippant, I feel like, as far as I'm sick and I don't care if I spread it. I have stuff to do, so I'm going to go do it. And I feel like that attitude should really change. Like, we should really be, if you're sick, stay home. If you have to go out when you're sick, wear a mask. Like, I would love to see that culturally change and people be more, understanding of like, oh, they want to stay home because they're sick and that's fine.
Yeah, Marina makes a great point that they do that in Japan as well, and it makes so much sense to like if you're sick, be kind to other people and try to not spread your germs and wear a mask.
Yeah.
I also like the hand washing practices that apparently we needed to rediscuss as a nation here in the United States.
Yeah.
I'm glad that that's a thing again because I always assumed it was, but people apparently forgot.
I don't know. I mean, I know with the pandemic, I've started washing my hands more. Um, you know that I'm very into like my nails and nail care and stuff like that. And washing your hands, it really hurts your nails. It makes them brittle and dry and stuff like that. So I definitely wash my hands more now since the pandemic started. But I mean, I think there are people that really didn't wash their hands ever before, and they're starting to now, which that is a little bit strange to me. I don't really understand that.
Showers, they're good enough for washing everything. Don't need to do anything beyond that, apparently.
Yeah, I don't know. Not the case. I mean, to me, it's kind of like how you wash your face special, different outside of the shower, just because it's out and about all the time, and so are your hands. They're like touching everything all the time, so you should take more care.
Yeah, you're using them so much more. Definitely, take that 20 seconds. It's
Yeah,
worth it.
yeah. But those are some things. Those are some things that I really hope stick, as far as these changes go. That I think it would just really benefit so many people.
I think being humbled by the fact that like stuff like this could happen. It You read about it in books and movies and everything like that. That you're like, oh, a pandemic couldn't actually come out and wipe off, blah 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 blah. And it turns out that it could if
Yeah,
we weren't prepared. It totally could.
yeah. I mean, this pandemic has been incredibly communicable. All it would take is something this communicable that was, a bit more deadly, and we really would have like a proverbial zombie apocalypse on our hands. I mean, obviously, real no zombies, but same kind of idea. It's that same exact. A lot of those same tropes would happen in real life.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited to see what art is inspired off of this, whether it be like comedy specials or books or anything like that, to see what this time has produced, and the themes of the current cultural events have happened, like what it produces. I'm excited to see that because, of course, with writing and art and storytelling, a lot of it is drawn from real life. So it's going to be really interesting to see in the next 18 months what comes of this.
Yeah, I think it's tough right now because we're still going through it, and it's directly affecting so many people, and so it's hard to think about it in the sense of art. I know a lot of creatives that I know and follow have been very very uninspired by this. Right, that this has made it very difficult for them to kind of create and things like that, and I think that's understandable because it's a really sad and scary time. But once we get to the point of it being after and we're processing it, I think we will see some of that.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Right now, in like our spaces, right, in like role play and fan fiction spaces, I have seen, funny enough, really more in fan fiction than in role play, but people actually are like, writing like COVID AUs, which is really strange. Like, to me, like, it's here now. I don't feel like I can fictionalize it because it's happening. It feels really strange and disrespectful, right, to do it right now, but people are, and it's just, it's fascinating. It's fascinating how seeing, because fandom is a place where people that don't really have another outlet, like they're not necessarily professional writers, can write. So it's kind of like, very art of the masses. So I find that really interesting.
That is. I'm trying to think because, of course, fan fiction having the reputation of being like sexy and smutty. I'm like trying to think like, how do you make this situation that is currently happening into something interesting like that?
Oh, some people are. I haven't read any of them because it's too much for me. But I've seen them. I've seen the titles. They exist.
Kai has a great point at being a way of coping.
Oh yeah,
that's 100% true too.
I'm sure for a lot of people that's exactly what it is.
Also, sorry, the cat is yelling at me. Also having time and energy, and if that's how people want to cope, then I prefer that to multiple different ways of people coping. So
oh my God, yeah.
I'm glad that they're getting that out.
For sure, there are definitely worse ways to do it than fan fiction on the internet. That's one of the I think more healthy ways is writing stories, for sure.
It'll just be interesting to see if any RPs end up doing like pandemic events or anything like that.
Oh gosh. Apparently some other moderators and other RPs got this question about like people that were doing stuff that's set, in now times, like, hey, is the pandemic happening in the role play? We didn't have that in Atlantis, which I thought was kind of funny, because we do have definitely some people in the RP that are very interested in realism, but I think most of the people read the room and didn't even bother asking because they knew what the answer would be. But I have heard some other moderators got that question from their players, like, hey, are we doing COVID? And as far as all the ones that I talked to anyway, they all said no. Absolutely not.
So much. Also, like, if you're in self-quarantine, how many of your characters can really, like, conversate and interact with one another? And it just...
Right? Like, to me, it would ruin the game.
But also, like, we started Atlantis when COVID was just starting, too. So I think that maybe it would have been different, or there would have been people asking such a question had we started it 6 months ago.
Oh yeah, you're probably right.
And if this happened, I think maybe that might have changed the demographic, or changed whether people asked it or not. Not necessarily saying it definitely would, but I think that probably had something to do with it. Is that it was right around the same time.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right. That probably has a lot to do with it. Because we started it like in February, right? Like right when the U.S. started going crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it was right before, and we definitely especially because, I mean, you've openly talked about it. We're so used to there being a drop off after our RPs open, as far as like people applying, a bunch of people applying, and then some people leaving because it just isn't their thing, or they don't get attached to it right away. And we didn't have that because there were so many people who were out
Are
of
you
work
selling?
because of
'Cause
COVID.
Yep.
That it definitely took several more weeks for us to get to that point where people just started falling off the map because they were uninterested.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. And I think for a lot of role plays that we're going, oh, it's dance time. Let's pause for the dance.
It's so cute though. Look at those happy snakes. Worms.
I love how all the dances are themed like that.
It's very cute.
Yes.
I
Love this game.
I like it. It's kind of it's that nice little like addition that the game makers add to it. It's very much like the Sims little hearts above the bed. That it's just like, thank you for adding something like this. I appreciate the dance break.
Yes.
All of those little details.
Oh my gosh, you talking about Sims is making me want to play Sims.
Listen, it's a great game.
Oh, I love Sims. I played just like the newest one, Sims 4, I think it was, like super briefly. And I got really annoyed with the pricing model. Like I feel like EA was doing a lot of stuff with like just piecemealing out like tiny chunks of the game and selling them, and I got really frustrated with that, so I stopped playing it. But I still feel like sometimes, I would love to go reinstall Sims 2. I don't know exactly how it would play on this computer. It's been a long time since that game came out, and I don't know how it runs on newer computers. But I've thought about it. I've thought about, like, what if I reinstalled Sims and streamed that? That might be fun.
It could be. I mean, it's a lot of fun because then you can follow a story and all of that. And you can. I like Sims because it's a lot like RP in some ways. You don't get as much control, and obviously you're not inside someone's head. But you get to story build, and you get to be like, oh, do I want my character to do something terrible to this person, or do I want my character to fall in love with this person?
Looks like
there's a lot more story that you get to control with it that I really enjoy.
Yeah. I would agree with that. In The Sims 2, my favorite thing to do that felt so cheap and cheatery, but I would do this. As soon as any of the kids got to college age, I would send them to college, because basically you can do the college with like no expenses, right? And so I would send them to college, and then just like rake in all the money when they move back into their parents' house, and I just wouldn't play the parents' house at all while they were in college. So then I would have like all this money and be like, okay, well, you went to college. I guess no one else has to go to college. We have a gajillion dollars now.
I definitely cheat. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I definitely give myself the boost money because I'm like, it's been fun playing for.
Mother load.
To live for. I don't need to do that. It's fine if I give myself like an extra 100,000 or whatever. It's fine.
Yeah, I used to play like that, and then I got really into playing like legacy challenges and trying to see how many generations I could go, and I never really tracked my points, right? Like I never really did it correctly. But I was doing like, my own modified version of Legacy Challenge, just to keep going and going and going with as many generations as I could. I never got all the way through whatever it was. So I think it was like 7 generations or 10 generations. I can't remember when you actually like supposedly beat the Legacy Challenge. I never got that far. I'd get to like generation 3 or 4, maybe 5, and then I'd be bored of the family or bored of Sims and have to play something else.
Yeah, I can't. There's like this challenge that's the 100 babies making challenge or something like that.
Oh God, I saw that.
And I'd be so bored by baby 15. I couldn't do it, but it's fun watching it.
Oh, I wish I could remember which YouTuber this was, but I got recommended to me. Somebody basically did one of those challenges and like just showed how slow their game ran when they actually had like that many babies on screen at once. Like that's how they did it. They went in the cheats and basically just generated like 100 babies at the same time. Some weird stuff happened. It was so funny.
Oh, that's funny.
Like really strange clipping and things like that. When you have that many characters on screen at the same time.
Yeah. It's a fun game. So.
Yep. I was just reading some of the chat that happened while I was chattering. Yeah, so Ty was saying London built a Nightingale hospital with 1,900 beds out of a convention center. Yeah, I mean, there's like so much space here. I don't know if the UK has this same problem, but maybe since you mentioned London, there's so much space here in the US that's unused because of like just a few, I don't know how exactly long ago, maybe like just a few decades ago, really in the 90s and early 2000s, that like malls were so popular. And I don't know how it is in your state, but like here, they're all abandoned. Like they're all basically parking lots now. It's crazy. What we could use that for some other things, you know. And I'm sure there's other examples in the U.S. where we've converted some of that stuff into hospitals because we really could here. We really could.
Yeah, Maine is really different because our population is less than 1 million people, like the entire state, and it's a big ass state. That we only have like 1 or 2 malls in the entire state. Our problem and our worry was that there's only like 5 hospitals. There's a lot of medical centers and there's a lot of places that you like can get to a doctor, but as far as like real big hospitals, there's like 5 of them.
Oh,
and
wow.
So we don't have space enough for anything, and a lot of them are down on the coast and the entire Midland, which is where a bunch of the old people live and a bunch of the people who can't get help or have access to medical help live. If anything happened up there, it would just devastate that entire area.
Wow.
So, yeah, Maine's a bit different. We're also still stuck in this weird, like, is it the 80s? Is it the 90s? Is it 2020? Who knows?
Mystery all at the same time.
Because we have, like, a traditional shopping mall, but we also have like turnover for restaurants and tourists coming in. So our like main shopping areas are constantly turnover, constantly modernized, but also for all the like locals, it's also like you still have to mail in asking for dates for the DMV to get a driver's license, and then they'll mail you something back.
Nuh-uh.
100%. And then you can only communicate via mail, and it's just an interesting system that we have up here in the north.
Man, anybody that tells me like South Carolina's bass backwards with that, I'm gonna remember that little tidbit because, oh my gosh, what? I mean, even we have online for like DMV and things like that. You don't actually have to go in for vast majority of things. You can do it online.
Nope, we are stuck in the past and we like it.
Jeez, how frustrating! Oh my god.
It's fine. I don't have to ever deal with traffic, so like I'm willing to sacrifice certain modernized systems for that.
Yeah,
so
we absolutely do. We have awful traffic here. Awful traffic.
It's very funny. Whenever I leave the state, and it doesn't matter how many cars are on the road, I'll always look around and be like, "There's too many cars."
Maybe I should move to Maine then, because I hate how much traffic we have here. It's so much.
Welcome to the rest of the United States, though.
Yeah, I've never been up as far as Maine. The farthest north I've been is New York City, so never really been close to your neck of the woods.
Well, one day we definitely should. We definitely should one day. Is this stream just us bitching about America a little bit?
Maybe? Apparently that's what it's turned into. We should probably start talking about role play and writing again.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my God! Just talk to each other. I'm trying to get these serpents to do their little mating dance.
Now, sometimes they're shy and they just don't want to like be so forward.
It's true.
They want to flirt it up a bit. It's a slow burn.
There we go. They're doing a slow burn. These are much easier though than what I was doing. The ones on the last stream where I was getting the stuff for the sparrow mints. Oh my God, the flying ones are so freaking annoying. They're so freaking annoying with the pathing. These are much easier.
No one likes an easy love story.
Nope. Nobody likes an easy love story.
Especially me. Like, draw it out for years and years if possible.
I mean, that's the best, right? All that anticipation.
Listen, it's my favorite thing. If I could, I'm pretty sure if I could slow burn a character arc for a year, I would be happy.
Oh my gosh.
But also, like, I also love the regular couple stuff, obviously with like Ravi and stuff.
Oh
like
yeah. Well, we've been playing them for so
love
long. It's a bit different.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, for sure. When it comes to that, though, in roleplay, the reason why I resist slow burns a lot, and I don't know if you do this, maybe you can talk about your experience with slow burns, is that like the roleplay dies a lot of times before you ever get to the ending when you do something that's truly slow burn in roleplay.
Yeah, I think, well, the thing with the slow burn is that you need to know that your partner is in the long haul with you.
Yep.
Because if they're not, then obviously it's not going to be a true slow burn. And I've been very fortunate that I've been obviously a part of your RPs and the RP that we mod together, that they last a long time. So I do get to play out at least a little bit of my slow burn fantasy. Because it's 2 years is like would be ridiculous, but 6 months is fun. So I haven't run into that much trouble as long as I have a partner who's in it with the long haul with me, as well as knowing that the RP is pretty stable and secure where it's at. But it's always a concern to sit there and I think that's also an issue I run into, especially because I like plotting things out. You know me, I'm a plotter.
So
I like plotting things out years in advance. And then you get somewhere and you're like, oh, the RP has actually died and I have 3 years worth of material plotted out. Goody. Great. Do I stop doing that? No. But it's always a little bit of a like, oh man.
Yeah, I've definitely experienced that before where we have to end role plays because I realize that basically just like only 3 people are truly still interested anymore, and it's like, you know, we may have more stuff planned and it may be great and it may be super fun, but if like there's only a few of us, it's not going to work, right? That's not a group. You know, and then it just becomes, you know, the whole group watching those few people that are still interested, which is just like, that's not right. That's not right.
100%. And also, like, there's a reason why I do group and not one-on-one. I don't write one-on-one because I like the aspect of other people adding to the world that I'm writing in. I like being able to build off of that. I like that group mentality. So when it gets to that point too, it stops being a group and it starts being a one-on-one, or it starts being a 3-person thing, and it just isn't nearly as fun, and you don't have as many voices coming in and changing the world and all that. So
yeah, it's definitely easier to get inspired when there's that collaborative aspect. You know, I was super into doing a lot of one-on-one role plays, like in the indie role play space on Tumblr before, you know, Tumblr got crazy and did its weird ban back. What was that, last December or 2 Decembers ago now? I can't remember.
I think it was 18.
Yeah, 28. That sounds right. And before then, and it was fun in a lot of ways, but in a lot of ways, it's also a lot more work. Like, there's not constant inspiration coming in from other people. It's just you and your partner. So it's very difficult to not end up in a situation where it's very one-sided, where either you're doing all of the work or you realize, oh my gosh, my partner's doing all of the work, or, you know, whatever. And neither of those situations are as fun. Whereas when it's in a group, you have so much other inspiration. At least for me, that doesn't really happen. It becomes very easy, you know, to constantly have that inspiration coming in.
I also really, for the most part, unless necessary, hate interacting with myself and my own characters. Two examples is Jimmy and Rab, like, connecting. They're in the same family in our current RP, except I would hate to, like, have to write that out at any point.
Yeah.
So when you get so small, like, that layover and that lap over has to happen, and you have to build characters in order for the world to keep going, and then they're just continuously building and overlapping, and I'm just like, please make it stop.
And then at that point, you're kind of just writing fanfic, right? It's not really quite the same thing as role playing.
but it's not like the fanfic I want to be writing. Also, like, I don't get into RP because I want to write fanfic. I would write fanfic if I wanted that, which I do. But like, I don't go in thinking, oh man, I really want a Jilly, James and Lily pairing that are going to go in this exact way and do this exact thing, and I'm going to do all the work. Because then I'd just be like, I'm just going to do a fanfic at that point.
Yeah, what's the point, right? Just write the fanfic.
But give me something different that I wouldn't think to write, that I wouldn't want to write. That's what I love about RPing, is being able to have those challenges and those plots just like thrown at you.
Yeah, and then things are kind of unexpected, right? And you can sort of just, and you have to react. You have to react instead of like planning it all yourself. And there's a certain fun nature to that I really enjoy about role playing that you just can't get from solo writing.
Yeah, and I love that contradiction of being able to plot 3 years out, and then also the mods or us or some other character throwing something at that's like, oh, actually, we're going to change everything because it now works better for the story, and I love it.
Yeah, like, oh, now that's not going to work. Sorry, we can't do that.
Let's plan the alternate universe. It's fine.
Oops. Yep, definitely been in that situation before.
Well, like, and that's very true to writing too, is because editors do that a lot. When you're thinking about writing your own book, editors will sit there and be like, actually, I don't think you're telling this perspective or you're telling the story from the right perspective. Or this character is unimportant, or this character is incredibly important, make them more important. Editors' jobs are to do that, and so being able to do that in this sort of practice as far as RP it's very interesting and it's fun, and it sometimes tells the best story, a better story than you would have thought of your own.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's very true. All right, so what I'm about to do in the game, just to kind of keep you guys up to date, I was just doing the Master Romancer for Serapent, but what I'm going to do now is we're going to get a two-headed snake. It's a very special way that you do it, but we have to breed 2 of these guys together, or romance 2 of these guys together, to get it to happen, and we need one of their eggs. So let's do one more romance of these Serapents. Don't you go in your house? See, all we'll see once we get the egg. I'll show you exactly how that works. We've got full of snakes. Garden full of snakes now. 2 heads. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be a 2-headed snake. You'll see. It's gonna be awesome.
I just love snakes. It's part of my branding, though. So.
Yeah, tell everybody about your snake, Landon. Give us a snake update.
Oh, his name is 2 heads. Sorry, Ty. His name is Salazar. He's adorable. He's currently in shed, which just means he's getting bigger and bigger. It was very, very funny. I told my mom that the other day because I was visiting her in Colorado. And she was like, again? He's in shed again? And I'm like, do people not know that snakes shed probably once or twice a month?
Oh my gosh, that does seem like a lot. That does seem like a lot.
Yeah. It's like twice every other month or so.
Wow.
Yeah, it is a lot, but I guess for me, I've had him for 1.5 years now, so I'm like, that's just normal. It just means that he's a big boy and he's eating a lot.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I don't know really anything about like keeping snakes. I have one friend from high school that ended up going into herpetology like as a career, and so he sometimes posts about his snakes or what he's doing with the snakes that he's working with and stuff like that. But it's really just pictures. Like I don't really know what he's talking about, right? So it does. I don't know. For me, like you never see a snake in shed in the wild, right? Like I definitely have snakes, in my yard and things like that, but you never see them in shed in the wild because they're hiding. And so that's something that it feels like a lot. Yeah, Ty, share the article and if you share it, Landon, if you could pull it up and share with us what's in there, and we'll talk about it. Yeah, Ty, please do share it. Would love to. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna watch this egg, and we're gonna wait until it does its final big bounce. So hopefully, I remember. Come here, cursor. There we go. Hopefully, I remember how this works.
All right. Can I just say this?
Yes.
This is my first reaction. The first thing that pulls up during this article is a picture of the woman who wrote it, or man, sorry, person who wrote it, and they look like it's someone who doesn't like change. I would just
No, what?
They're very Karen-esque.
No, Karen's a slur, Landon. Don't say that. I'm just kidding, y'all. Karen's not a slur. Karen's not a slur. But that meme has ruined my name, so I have personal feelings about it.
You're Karen Terry. You're different. you're not all Karens.
No, not all. Yeah, hashtag not all Karens. Oh my God, that's awful. Cancel me. Cancel me. That's so sad. That's so sad that oh, here we go. It worked. Yes. Okay. That's so sad that they not only are espousing those opinions, but they have that look too. Like there's no hope. There's no hope. Then that's the worst. Okay, continue. What's our article got to tell us?
Well, it starts with the line, "No expression sends a chill down my spine like the new normal." And so you know this person's a dramatic person.
How are you today?
I can think of many things scarier than new normal. What does that even mean? My word. All right. While she's reading that article, and then Landon, once you read it, you can update us and tell us all about it. While she's doing that, we've got our master romancer for the Serapents. So we're gonna be done with them for now. Again, like later in this game, I will get to a point where I want to have like 3 or 4 of every single pinata. So don't worry, all of these guys that we're selling are coming back. It's just that I don't want to start any new gardens until we have that final expansion, because there's no point. Because all that hard soil whacking that we did, we're going to have to do that again on every single new garden, right? So right now, the goal is just to get as much experience as I possibly can so that we can get to those expansions. And then I'll start actually collecting the particular piñatas that I want to collect in each garden. Oh, I shouldn't have sold all of them. I should have kept one, but that's okay. It's fine. We need a mouse mallow still. They're not coming. Okay, so when you've got piñatas like just not coming to the island, like I think the reason why another mouse mallow didn't come to the island is because I had so many Serapents and the Serapents eat them, so they're scared of them, right? So they're slightly less likely to come to the island. If you're patient, they will still go ahead and come on. But I think that's what was probably happening. So just to kind of move this along, we are going to use Gretchen Fetchum for the first time. So that's this lady right here. She did her little intro thing, but I didn't talk about her or show her off. So she'll essentially go get any piñata for you that you've already gotten, which I will use the hell out of this later in the game. You guys will see, hopefully we'll get that far so that you can see it. She has Express, which is faster and more expensive, and then she has Standard, which is slower and cheaper. And the harder the piñata is to get, the longer it takes her to do these things. I'm going to go ahead and do Standard to because I don't think the mouse mallow takes that long because he's so like low down here. I think. Hopefully I'm not wasting a bunch of time where we're going to wait on this piñata. But that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to get that mouse mallow, and so she'll bring one for me essentially, and then we'll have 2 and we can kind of move forward with that. All right, Landon, did I give you enough time?
You did.
Okay.
I just have to say that the white privilege that is, it's just a lot.
Oh God. Oh God.
Yeah. So apparently, according to the author, Lionel is her name.
Okay.
We can't have public transportation anymore or fly anymore, which like is a little exaggerated because neither of those things are true. Because this isn't permanent; it's just temporary, and I forget that. There's sometimes when I read some people's opinions that I just go, I am so thankful for you to be born in this century, because I know no matter what, this person would not have survived any other time frame.
Landon, I think people are having trouble hearing you over the game because both of those noises are coming through my desktop. Can you go into your audio settings and turn up your volume on your microphone since you're talking a lot right now? I think people are missing a few words sometimes. All right. While she's doing that, I'll just share some of my thoughts in hearing. You can still use public transport. You can still fly. You might not want to anymore because you have to wear a mask while you get on there. You have to be careful about when you go. And I feel that. Like, I wouldn't want to fly right now. I don't want to sit and wear a mask for hours on an airplane. You know, I'm going to choose to delay certain things. I know I'm going to be delaying certain things because I don't want to fly right now, because I don't want to use public transport right now. And that's valid, but it's not going to be forever. It's not going to be forever that this happens. And so speak again?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah, you're louder now. That sounds great. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, anyway, continue on. Sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. Actually, let me do this also. Where's my audio settings? Let me turn down the music, because I bet it's when the music comes in that people are really struggling. And also, I don't want them to talk because I rarely ever pay attention to that. Y'all really just need to hear the sound effects. Okay, that should help a little bit too. Now turning the music down. Okay, let's go back.
Oh, according to Ty, I'm still really faint.
Still really faint. You sound pretty loud here. Speak again.
Hello?
It's looking at my volume levels. It visually looks like you're louder on my OBS.
I am the highest Discord will let me go.
Okay, let me just turn down the music all the way, and then I'll jack up my desktop sound. Give me just a second, guys. Thank you for pointing that out. Still very new to all of this, so I don't know what I'm doing. So thanks for your patience with my boomer ass self. Balance sounds fine. The balance sounds fine. What do you mean by that, Marina? Hang on. I don't have windowed mode on this game, so hold on one second. I had to make it go to desktop so I can turn this up. Okay, I jacked up the desktop audio, and let me turn down my microphone a little bit. Okay, let's try that again. See what happens.
Hi, is that better for you?
Hopefully it is. It sounds better to me.
Cool. It's really such a shame since everything I'm saying is so important. Please note
everything
that
you
there was so much sarcasm.
Everything you always say is so important.
Don't I think so? Anyway, I'm just very grateful that this person was born in this current time stance. As far as being born anytime else, it just would have been terrible because if they can't live without public transportation and flying, like that just takes out any time before the beginning of the 19th century or 20th century, and it would have been bad. Also, they're saying that this current pandemic is the dying of performing arts. They obviously have not spent any time in places that are like really encouraging online platforms as far as arts go. Like, wow. Yeah, they're like, we're meant to say goodbye to the performing arts altogether. And I'm very confused by that because I am a part of the burlesque scene here in Portland, Maine. And let me tell you that I have been into more burlesque events in the last month than I did the entirety of 2019.
Oh my God. Like, I can't, yeah, like this person just must not be connected with the performing arts because I mean, I have had more opportunities to consume performing arts than ever. And I mean, even though I'm not necessarily part of the performing arts currently, in education, you know, there's been this huge additional push for remote learning and for streamed webinars and things of that nature. So the truth is, like, even though I'm not performing, I'm doing an educational task. It's running along the same lines, and I'm doing more. I'm doing more than ever. I'm running more classes than ever. I'm hosting, more webinars than ever. Like, everything's amped up to times 10 now that it can be online, and people don't have to do nearly as much planning. They can leave that on me, So that's
Yeah.
just crazy.
Well, and people are getting around it too. Like Ty, I understand that Ty makes the point that that this is obviously very UK centric, and we're speaking from a very US centric perspective because we're both within the United States.
Okay. Maybe it's more true in the UK then?
It maybe. Ty, do you have an opinion on that as far as like, or I mean, Marina, I know you're not in the UK, but you're over in Europe, which, like, not to clump everything together, but
but you just did.
but you
it's
know
okay,
what?
Europe doesn't exist.
I'm just going to anyway.
We're about to have another dance break, y'all. We're about to do the Mouse Mallow romance, so get ready for it. Get ready for it.
But these ears are too cute.
Aren't they?
On these animals.
They're like cartoonishly big, right? Like, I know there are mouse breeds that have like the giant freaking ears, but these are like even bigger than that, so this is just wonderful.
I just feel like unproportionally they'll just blow away.
They're like Dumbo ears, right? They can fly. Okay, so Ty says places have temporarily closed down. This is true, but it's perfectly clear that it's temporary and will reopen everything ASAP. Everything is reopening this month. Yeah, as far as I can tell in Europe, you know, most of the European countries are kind of getting to the point where they're starting to really tackle the problem. So so they are able to like reopen safely, which means that it only lasted, they started closing down in like January, February or so, depending on the country. So that means, you know, if we count January, so January, February, March, April, May, June, so that's only 6 months. Like, this is only a 6-month inconvenience out of your entire life to save other people's lives. It's not that much. It's not, you know, it's not that big of a sacrifice in my mind. Like, that's easy. You know, 6 months to save lives, that's easy.
I like that positive for Marina said that Germany had to realize that they should think about proper internet infrastructure. And I agree, because like the internet has the community that we've seen on the internet and the way people are taking art to the internet is so much bigger and so much like more reliable, I want to say, than before. Like my favorite examples have been how the late night shows here in the United States, we have the late night talk shows, that they have basically taken on a YouTube like sort of version of themselves.
They have.
Yeah. And it's that's been so nice to see, and then hopefully means that like because of this change in perspective, internet style entertainment will actually be taken more seriously, and things like web series or streaming even certain events will have changed and will have become more popularized because of this. Not necessarily because it's our only option once things starts opening up, but because it just makes it easier for people to access.
Yeah. I definitely think that that we could do a lot in our country too. Like, I don't know exactly what situation Germany is in for this, but in the U.S., something that I think for people that don't live in the U.S. That's kind of hard to understand is that most of the U.S. is a whole lot of nothing. Like, it's really just giant swaths of land, but there are people that live out there. Like, we do have people that live out in the middle of freaking nowhere, and where the only internet option is satellite. So we could really do a lot better with our infrastructure too. I think that's something that that we could really improve on, because if you live in a city like I do, it's fine. Like, there's not really a big internet issue. Like, we actually had a lightning storm yesterday evening, and it took out something major, like a relay or something. I don't know. I didn't call them to ask. But we had an outage. We had the longest outage I've experienced in a long time. But they worked on it, and we got it up relatively quickly, and I was still able to come on and stream where I thought I wasn't going to be able to. You know, at first when I got up this morning and it was still down, because that was kind of surprising. But, you know, if the internet goes down out in a place where there's, you know, 10 houses all a mile away from each other and they're all using satellite internet that's not reliable, like, no one's going to come out and fix that. There's not enough customers, you know? So some comments from Ty. The place where she lives has been voted best place to live in London. It's really trendy, upmarket area. Oh, good
Which
to know.
Which means it's really white and rich.
Really bougie, right? Especially since 2/3 of the facilities would have probably died. Oh my god.
Fatalities.
Oh, fatalities.
Yeah, no, she is not a good person. This article is not putting her in a good light, and like obviously that quote was terrible, but just to like, she wrote that and then also said, if you're foolish enough to go to someone's garden party, you have to bring your own chair.
Oh
Like
my
that's an
God.
actual inconvenience to her.
It just bring a chair. Like it's not that big of a deal. Like, do you not have a trunk on your car? What's the problem? Hey Joe
Yeah.
Feels, how are you doing? Hat. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Oh, you're talking about my hat. That's probably what. Yes.
Is that
Yes,
Kendra?
oh, it's Kendra. Oh, that's Kendra. Hey, yes, I'm wearing the hat for you. So I promised Kendra like literally months ago that I would wear this hat in a video since since she saw it on my social media. But I'm a big fat liar and I didn't. So I'm wearing it on stream. I feel like that's a little bit more. It's a little bit more appropriate than in an educational video that's supposed to last, for years later. That people are still supposed to be able to go back and watch years later. Thank you so much. I love this hat too. It's the best. I love it. I love it so much, and it's become even kind of a thing at work. Like when people's kids are in the background, they'll ask me to put on the hat because the kids go freaking nuts for this hat. They think it's like the cutest, coolest thing in the world, and I agree. They are right. Kendra, you're joining us as we're talking about an article written by somebody who's very upset that the pandemic is a thing that inconveniences them slightly, and they don't like that they have to do annoying things to save people's lives. So just to catch you up, that's where we are.
Oh, well, I think Marina makes an excellent choice or excellent point that really bringing your own chair is an opportunity to like just show off your amazing chair skills.
Oh,
And I
wow.
think like the chief chair is definitely a competition everyone should strive for.
I like it. I'm for that, honestly.
But also, like, why are you bringing your own chair? You could literally just bring sanitary wipes.
Right? Right? Like, I don't know. I just don't think it's a big deal. I don't think it's a big deal to bring hand sanitizer with you and bring a mask with you. I mean, it was kind of a big deal at first because everyone was out of all this stuff, and that was really frustrating when it's like, I would love to have a mask. I would love to wear a mask when I go to the grocery store, but I literally can't find one. Like, that was really annoying. But now that everything's readily available, you can pretty much get hand sanitizers, you can pretty much get masks, and it's no big deal. I don't really understand why it's that big of an inconvenience. Yeah, Ty says supermarkets sell those fishing folding chairs for like £5. Yeah, same here. They're like $6 or $7 for one of those like folding chairs. Like if you really feel like you can't put your butt on a place where other people would put their butt, like, I mean, you can go get a chair. This person could definitely go get a chair anyway. I'm sure there are people in the world, of course, that don't have a spare £5, but they have, other things that they're probably more worried about than this. This lady obviously has a spare £5 based on where she lives.
It's just a lot and I think that's sorry, motorcycles.
Oh.
I think that's what's so heavy about the world at the moment is like people can't seem to look outside their own perspectives and their own lives and be like, oh man, just because this is an inconvenience to me doesn't mean it's actually that big of a deal given everything.
Yep. So it turns out I didn't actually need Gretchen Fetchum to order that mouse, but she finally brought it, the one that I ordered. So now we have an extra one. We don't have to do one of these romances to get the Master Romancer. Whatever. You know what? I got impatient. I thought it wasn't coming, but I was wrong, and it did.
I'm calling them Dumbo mouses from now on.
That's so cute. That's so cute.
Because I feel like they would just fly away should a strong gust of wind happen.
Good thing there's no wind in this game.
I think that would have been a very interesting add-on.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I wish they would make another of these games. Like, this game was made in the early 2000s, and they made one sequel, and then they made a version for the DS, but they never made a third one. But I feel like, gaming has become it's just grown so much even since then. I really wish they would make a third one, because I think there probably is a lot of innovation they could make on this game, especially seeing the success of Animal Crossing now.
Yeah, I'm sure at some point you might stream Animal Crossing. It is a foreign language to me. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just like, what is happening?
I really, really want to stream Animal Crossing, like I really do, but I can't right now because there's just logistically, it's not as easy. It's much easier to stream something I can play on the computer. So first of all, you have to have a regular Switch, which I play my Animal Crossing on a Switch Lite, which you can't hook it up in the right way. Like there's no capture card for it, so you can't hook it up to where it shows. And then the other issue is that we do have a regular Switch that if I bought a capture card I could use, but it's my husband's Switch, so I'd have to like coordinate with him and borrow it from him, and that's just not realistic. You know, that we have two Switches for a reason. It's because I play the hell out of my Switch, and if I was playing on his Switch, he'd essentially never get to play it, because that's the main thing that I play games on, because that has my Pokemon, that has my Animal Crossing, you know what I mean? And Switch games do come out that he wants to play, so it's just not fair. So there's a lot of things that would have to fall in place for me to stream some Animal Crossing. I would love to, though. I would love to. It's just not realistic right now.
Makes sense. Well, then I will continue to just question it from afar.
Kendra knows she plays Animal Crossing, and Marina knows too. They play the Animal Crossing with us.
Ty, I have to tell you, I read the Paper Pinata just tumbleweeding through, and it just said one of those, like, the Dumbo mice with the ears just, like, literally spinning and flipping, and I need that in my life now, so I hope the developers are listening.
Oh my gosh.
Just buy another Switch. Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I mean, here in the United States, Switches are like blocks of gold at the moment. I feel like there's a lot of crime happening just to get their hands on Switches.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like you can order one off of some websites like Amazon and some things like that, but like my understanding is that even if you can find one that's available to order, they take freaking forever to ship because they're just so understocked. Like they just don't have enough Switches to go around.
Yeah, I think so. Here's ready for conspiracy theory.
Yeah, hit me.
This whole pandemic is actually just Nintendo's way of selling Switches. They released everything.
It worked.
Because they're like, you know what? Right as Animal Crossing comes out, what would be really, really convenient? World pandemic.
Well, you know what's funny? You know what's funny is Animal Crossing was supposed to come out in the fall, you know, before the holiday season, which is when most big games come out, right? Mm-hmm. But then they got pushed back to March. Very curious. Very curious.
Because it was like it was planned.
It's almost like Nintendo somehow knew that that's around the time that coronavirus would get really bad in multiple of their target markets. Yeah, I think Ty's on board. Ty's on board with this conspiracy.
I'm saying that this makes a little bit more sense than the 5G stuff.
I mean,
and that this could be an actual conspiracy theory going around about this.
Oh my god, the 5G thing is so crazy. Like, I feel like none of these people that believe that 5G thing have ever heard the phrase correlation does not equal causation. I mean, to me, as somebody who's not very conspiracy theory driven, who really only like enjoys them on an amusement entertainment level, to me it's like, well, duh, Corona's popping up in the same areas as 5G because both things correlate with the amount of population that you have. So duh. But like, I mean, I think there's a lot of people out there that follow these conspiracies that legitimately believe 5G is causing it, and it's just so crazy to me when the answer is like super obvious. Can't get it.
Well, you know what? Just some people are just meant to be, thinking they're wild things. So we'll let them have 5G, I guess.
Conspiracy confirmed if Tencent buys Nintendo. True.
Ooh.
True. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do now, guys, that we did the mouse mallows. Let's breed. We've got tafflies coming pretty easily, so let me build their house and we'll breed some tafflies. How long have we been going? We've gone for an hour and 15 minutes. Okay, we still got plenty of time to do another pinata. Easily.
Ty just asked if that was a marshmallow washing itself.
Yes, they will do that. They will actually interact with the ponds when you build them. They will wash themselves and they'll drink the water out of the ponds. It's very freaking adorable.
We love a good water feature for that reason.
We do. Yeah, can't have dirty paper. Oh my god. Yeah, no dirty paper. No dirty paper in the garden. Once again, I almost said island. Almost. Sorry, I totally cut you off there. What were you going to say?
Oh, I was just saying that it must learn to clean itself in order to stay.
So cute. So cute. Yeah, I let that chili sit there too long. I should have just sold it before. I knew it had been sitting there too long. But whatever. Oops. Oh, yeah, the worms keep on coming. You don't even have to do anything. These guys just come into the garden. So, like, if you've got a garden here that you don't necessarily want them in, you just sell them and they're like free money over and over. Bye.
That's so depressing.
Yeah. Oh, let's look at the
Just
inside. Oh, it is depressing. Let's look at the inside of the Mouse Mallow house. I want to show y'all what that looks like because I think it's a pretty cute one. They're like little clock gears. Little clock gears.
I think the big toilet paper companies and Nintendo were working together, to be honest.
Big toilet paper. Oh my gosh. We still have some stores that you go in and they have no toilet paper or cleaning supplies. Like one of our favorite. You still have it too?
Go ahead, yeah. So we just got toilet paper back in here in the big city. And by big city, I mean Portland, Maine, which is not a big city. We just got toilet paper back in. Still can't buy paper towel.
Wow. We had paper towels way before we had toilet paper. We just recently started seeing toilet paper again, but there are still some stores that you can't find any toilet paper in. Like some stores have it and some stores don't, essentially. But the other thing that we really struggle to find is certain cleaning products. Like scrubbing bubbles is my favorite for cleaning the bathroom and a few other things around the house, and you can't find it. Like there's none of those scrubbing bubble spray cans like anywhere. And it's really annoying. We've been out for a long time, and I've had to start using other stuff, like bleach-based products is what I'm using now. We have some bleach spray that when one of our relatives was staying with us, they bought some because they wanted to use it, and so I've been using that up, and it's just not the same. I don't like smelling the bleach. I just don't like it. I want my scrubbing bubbles back. It smelled good and it worked.
Yeah, so for us, it's very alarming, but also I just find hysterical that all bathroom products are available and yet nothing else. Wow. So you can't find like Clorox cleaning wipes. You can't find like 420, like any of the. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, I know what you mean. 409. 409 is what you meant to say.
My inner stoner.
Why are you such a pothead? Stop it.
Yeah, you can't find any of that, but you can find like bathroom stuff. So it either means that the bathroom companies are totally on top of their shit and like made enough product and are right there, or no one is cleaning their bathrooms in Maine.
Yikes.
Those are the two options.
Yikes. Let's hope it's not number 2. I don't want to think about that.
I don't either.
Marina says, nowadays all that stuff that was rare for a few weeks is now everywhere in even greater amounts than ever before. You can get face masks and disinfectants in stores you wouldn't expect to find it in. Yeah, that's true for us too when it comes to face masks and when it comes to hand sanitizer. That stuff is now in every store. It's in every grocery store. It's in every like Walmart type of store. It's in every like pharmacy. It's in every gas station. It is freaking everywhere, which is nice because we're not going to run out. So I do like that. But before, like, you didn't necessarily find that stuff in gas stations or in pharmacies, and now you do.
Yep, the same here as far as being able to find masks and stuff like that. However, if you wanted to send me disinfectant, Marina, I really, really appreciate it because I cannot find it in my state.
Oh my gosh. You know, the other thing, it's back now and it's fine, but the other thing that got really run on here that I don't understand why, it's like someone decided this was the new item to hoard and they started hoarding it and that forced everyone else to start hoarding it. I don't know. Whoever Patient Zero was in this case that started it, I'm really annoyed at you, but this went on for like a month where you couldn't find pet food.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell? What the hell? It was so crazy. No one had dog food, and it was really a struggle for us because we have an elderly dog. She's like 14 or so. We don't know exactly because we adopted her, and so we don't really know exactly how old she was when we got her. But she has hip dysplasia, and so glucosamine really works for her. I know it doesn't work for all dogs with hip dysplasia, but it really works for her. So we like to get the food with glucosamine in it, and we couldn't find any. We couldn't find any for the longest time, and she went through a bag of dog food that didn't have it in it, and it was really annoying, because like the stores would just be out. Like you'd walk into the store and there would be like one bag of one type of dog food. It was crazy.
Oof. Yeah, I was very fortunate that we buy we being the people in my head apparently, buy cat food in bulk because there was a time where it was like there was no cat litter, there was no cat food, there was nothing. And even at like pet I have a pet store. Even at the pet store, it seemed like they were out of cat litter, and I was like, how is that possible?
Yep, that's how it was here too. Like the pet stores, because they had more, they would still have some, but like there would be like huge gaps in their shelves. It was just insane, and I don't know why people decided that was the new thing to hoard. Like I don't know. They come in giant bags. I don't get it, but that was a thing.
Well, especially because, like, I mean, I guess I kind of understand it, but also dog food, like, there's so many other options as far as dog food goes.
Yeah,
And yes, some of them is medical, but like, if worse comes to worse, you can feed your dogs human food.
you
Like,
could. They'd
like
be
they're
all
not
right.
gonna starve. They're not gonna starve. It might be a little bit more expensive, but it's gonna be fine.
Yeah, like you can I don't know, to me it's like it's not something I would ever consider like going crazy if I ran out of. Like if I had a few days where I didn't have any, like I have people food and you just cook a bland version of it and she can eat it. And maybe that's coming from a place of like serious privilege or something and I just don't get it. But yeah, that was one that really baffled me. Really, really baffled me as something to hoard. Like why? They see other people
Yeah,
hoarding on social media and they feel pressure to do it too. Well, that's essentially what happened to me. Like, I did do like a tiny bit, and and I think this is awful. I shouldn't have done this, but I did. I did a tiny bit of toilet paper hoarding at one point when that was like so low. And it was because everyone else was doing it. I saw no reason to hoard it. It wasn't a big deal, like if I ran out for a little bit, but considering they were out for like weeks and weeks and weeks, like when we found it, we bought a bunch. Like I don't, and it was just because of everybody else. It's not because I felt a need to hoard it. It was awful.
well, and like that's how hoarding starts, right? Is that you see some people panic and they grab a lot, and then those people naturally want to then panic as well because they see people panicking and they grab a lot, and that's how it starts. Like that's so completely normal. And so like seeing people on social media and feeling peer pressured is 100% okay. It's just, yeah, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, and we cause it amongst ourselves, and if everyone was just like, take a breath, then it would be okay.
Yep, I totally agree. We absolutely cause it ourselves. It is absolutely a self-fulfilling prophecy. See them bouncing? This is a cute one.
It's like a basketball. It is a basketball.
Yes.
He's balancing it on his finger/trunk.
Yes, that's what they were doing. They were playing basketball.
Mommy, what were the flies doing? They were playing basketball, honey.
Oh my god. Oh my god. When two flies love each other very much.
Very much. They play basketball.
Okay. Alright. That's enough of those. For the flies. Okay.
So much.
Yeah, did
candy.
that article say anything else? Did that article say anything else worth commenting on?
Really, other than this person is just a woman who doesn't understand her own privilege and needs to justify her own fear and panic by telling everyone that they're spreading government propaganda and that they're weak for believing things, even though it's not worth it.
Back in my day, if people wanted to spout their awful beliefs, they had to write into the paper letters to the editor, and nobody read it. And that's why the internet is evil, and we need to go back to that world, because I'm tired of seeing people's awful opinions on the internet. Soon you shall ascend and claim your rightful title, Lady of the Flies. Yes, I will be the Lady of the Flies. Y'all will see, we're going to do something really fun. Just like we did with the Serpent, we're going to do something really fun with the Tafflies. We'll see. That's why I checked what time it was, to make sure that I could finish master romancing these guys, because I want to show off the really fun fly at the end of that.
This fun little maze thing is just something extra that I'm like, it's so weird that they added this little thing, but I kind of love it.
I feel like the developers were like, okay, you do all these things to romance them, but then we need like a mini game so that it feels like a challenge, right? Like an actual game. And and then the maze was born, and it does really affect things. Like right now I've just been kind of cruising through it, and I can talk while I'm doing it, and it's no big deal, right? But as we keep going through the weeks and we're playing this game, y'all will see we will eventually get to a point where it's where I can't do the mazes, like where you will see that I'm actually very bad at video games and I can't freaking do it.
Okay, so maybe that was just you were like doing it so cool and calm, and you've been talking all this time, and I'm like, it would have been so difficult for me, except that maze looks so easy.
Well, they are easy right now, but don't worry, they get much harder. They
Good.
get much harder.
I'm looking forward to seeing you struggle.
There will be a point where I'm like, okay, I'm done with this. I'm just gonna Gretchen fetch on the rest of them. I can't do this freaking maze. I hate myself. There will be a point eventually that happens, but it's several hours into the game. The target audience for this game is relatively young, so the beginning of it's pretty easy.
Yeah. Ty, your second quote that you pulled, I've not been shy about sharing my opinion that this lockdown is nonsense and has been one of my gravest mistakes ever made. If that's their biggest mistake, then I don't know what to tell them.
Hang on, you guys. I think my dog wants in, so I'm just gonna hop up one real quick. Landon, you can keep talking while I let her in the room.
Oh no, now there's pressure to fill the silence. Yeah, unfortunately, the article is so full of out of context one-liners that just make you really angry and about the situation, and I feel like it's part of the problem with opinions such as these is that they want people to have reactions, and they want people to be outraged by what she's saying, because then it draws attention to what she's saying, and she thinks that attention means that she's being verified that what she's saying is correct. And at the end of the day, it's just terrible. That's my help.
I caught the tail end of that, and I agree. And it can be very addicting. You know, as someone that is very online, I absolutely understand like the pull for like, well, I could say this and I know it would get a lot of engagement, even though like it's really awful and it's not even like my full true thoughts. But I know if I say it this way, then you know this will happen. And those thoughts do occur even when you know that they're wrong. And so I could see how somebody would act on that. I can absolutely see how someone would just take it to the next level and actually write the article instead of just, thinking those thoughts. Because that attention, that rush that you get, it's very addictive. Oh my gosh, they're not going to eat the candies because the Lickatoad is here. Let's get rid of him. You're distracting.
Aww.
You're distracting them.
I like the Lickatoad the most, though.
Well, he eats tafflies, so he's upsetting the tafflies, and that's who we're trying to breed right now.
Oh, well, I suppose we can wait.
Yeah, we'll get more later.
Yeah, no, I can 100% understand why, like, we as human beings thrive off of attention, right? Mm-hmm. Positive reinforcement, positive attention means that you're doing something right socially. Mm-hmm. And socially is one of the biological things that we need to focus on. So people want to be liked by mass amounts of people. So 100% understand why getting that engagement is a rush and a huge important part of some people's identity. It's really sad and really frustrating when it's a false narrative, or when it's for shock value, or when at the end of the day, as Ty is kind of saying, that it's I don't like change because it's impacting my life. Well, boo-hoo.
Yeah.
Some things just impact your life.
Yeah, and it's like, to me, if people are at risk, like literally at risk, then I don't think it's, oh my gosh, wake up so I can sell you. Sorry, I don't think it's a big deal. I don't think it's a big deal for me to make some changes to save lives, and it just makes me think that for a lot of these people that are feeling this way, that are believing these things about COVID and I think they must really not realize that they're actually saving lives. Like in my mind, like they must not really realize that people actually are getting really sick. People actually are dying. So you know, like, because as if you know that, I just don't see how you could feel this way. You know what I mean? Lickatoad's like water. Can 'em. Let me see. Let's see if that'll wake him up. Maybe.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things, and this is without getting into conspiracy theory. I think this is probably part of the issue is with also kind of involving technology on it. Is especially in the United States, the idea of what 1 million viewers or 1 million people or anything like that is so incredibly small that it's no longer a shocking number, even though it is a huge amount of people.
Yeah.
And so, like, when we think of 1 million people getting sick, we're like, but like a video can also reach 17 million people.
Yeah.
To go viral, we're like, oh, well, 1 million isn't that much, but like 1 million's a huge amount of people.
Yeah, he was stuck, by the way, y'all. That's why I just whacked him and killed him. You can actually do that to any of your pinatas, but I realized he was bugged. He was stuck on the candies here, so I just killed him. Sorry, pinata murderer. That's me.
That is so tragic. I feel like we need to have a funeral for Mr. Toad.
He's in a better place.
Nice about him in the comments.
He's in a better place now. Don't worry.
Thank you, Marina. You understand my pain. Poor frog.
Bye. Yeah, he is bugged. That's in the first game. There's some weird pathing issues, so stuff like that happens sometimes. I wish they had the second game on PC, and I could show that one off, but they don't. It's only on the Xbox. I think it's a 360 game. The second one's a 360 game.
That's so rude.
Yep. What were we saying before? I had to make sure people knew that yes, I knew I killed my toad.
just that the idea of what 1 million is.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, I mean people
small, but also huge.
Yeah, and as you grow on some of these platforms and as you start to get more engagement, it feels like you kind of like, okay, so I'll talk about it from YouTube perspective because that's what I'm doing. But you can say, like, because I'm very small on YouTube, but if I have a video that gets 50 views, like, it does feel like only 50 views. But that's just insane because 50 people is still a lot of people. Like, if I think about, if I put on a training for work and I'm, giving a lecture at work, having 50 people attend that lecture, if it's not a required one, then I think like, oh my god, that's amazing. I had awesome turnout. People must really been interested in that topic, right? But if I get 50 views on a YouTube video, it's like, well, that kind of sucked. That was probably not the best topic. You know what I mean? So it's like people can't internalize large numbers. Exactly. People can't internalize large numbers. So in your mind, at least for me, all that I can really do is compare it to other similar situations. So that's why I'm like, 50 people at work, I'm like, oh my god, so many people. But 50 people on a within the first couple of days of a YouTube video, I'm like, oh, why that one didn't do so good, that one didn't do so good, and I'm like, but still, it's 50 people. That's a lot of people.
Exactly. But we also and obviously this is a very U.S. centric opinion, but we come from a country where there's 300 million of us.
Mm-hmm.
So having 1 million people sick, to us, we're also like, oh, that's nothing.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's that many.
That's also 1 million people's lives who've been impacted, and if you assume those 1 million people each have 3 people that have 30 people, that's everyone's been impacted in some way. And unfortunately, with this, unless you've been directly impacted, your opinion is so vastly different because it's just an inconvenience. Because it's just a thing that's happening out there and not happening here.
Right.
I have to tell you, I had a friend who went to the hospital and had to get a respirator because of COVID.
Wow.
And as soon as that happened, it wasn't that I wasn't taking it serious before, but as soon as that happened, it became real.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw that and heard that, I was like, holy moly, this could literally happen to anyone at any time.
Yeah.
Because my friend is he's in his early 30s. So
I had opened the door. Sorry, my husband just got home. I had opened the door because Ree was barking. She wanted in. Oh, thank you. What do you get? Is it something that's... He brought me a gift, y'all. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Look what he got me. They just went to the grocery store, obviously. I didn't even realize that's where they were going. Obviously, because I was streaming, so he wasn't going to pause the stream. Oh, shoot, there's a maze. I have to finish it. But this is what he brought me, some unicorn cakes. I actually have been really craving some cake lately, and I can't remember if I told him or not, or if he just felt it through the ether, that I really have been wanting some cake. And yeah, thank you so much. It's called Unicorn Cakes Sparkling Strawberry, if you couldn't read it because the webcam was pretty small. So it's strawberry flavored. I won't torture y'all with eating on stream, but I'm absolutely going to have one of these right after we are off stream.
That's so sweet.
It was very sweet.
Extra husband points for today.
For sure. He will get an extra hug once we're done streaming. Although, I married him, so that means he gets unlimited hugs, as many as he wants.
Oh, that's true.
let's, there we go. Oh, the microphone kind of blocks it. What if I put it, like, here? There. Now y'all can see it.
I just love that it's so on brand for you.
It is. I mean,
unicorny and sweet.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that's why he saw it. He was like, oh, it's all of Karen's favorite things. We have to do this. I will absolutely enjoy these, Marina. Absolutely. Okay, I think that's the last Taffly I had to do, and then I'll get Taffly Master Romancer. We'll make sure when the egg hatches that it gives me the credit for it, and then we'll do the next fun thing. Let me get ready. For that while that egg is hatching. But yeah, I mean, I think when it comes to numbers, because it's so hard to internalize it, that all you can really do is compare. At least all I can really do is compare to other situations. I can't really imagine thousands or millions. Like, I can't. I can just see the number and compare it to other situations. Now, I have been very, very lucky that I have not had anyone in my personal life affected by COVID. The only person I know that has been affected, it's a few degrees of separation removed from me, right? Like, none of my direct friends or family have been affected. I have one internet friend that we think might have had COVID very early on, that she got very sick during COVID, but I don't think we ever got that confirmed. Like, Landon, do you remember if she ever told us that it was confirmed or not?
She hasn't gotten to testing yet, because by the time that it was open for testing,
it was like too late, right?
It was too, like, she was already healed, and they haven't come out with an antibodies, or at that point they hadn't come out with like a have you had it before. It's only a current, do you currently have it? But I mean, her symptoms were so on point.
They were pretty much accurate. They pretty much were, right? Like, I think it was.
I would be incredibly shocked if it turned out that she didn't have it.
Right? I would be too.
It lasted nearly a month. It was all the right symptoms.
Yeah.
I just can't.
Yeah, exactly. But the only
exactly, Marina.
I think she said her doctor was like, yeah, not going to test you, but I'm sure you got it. I agree, that's what happened. So there's her situation, and there's one person that I know, like, friend of a friend through work, that had it, but, like, that's it. So, like, I haven't come, like, face to face with it. So to me, the numbers do feel very abstract, but I have a very humanistic perspective, so to me, it doesn't really matter to me how many people are passing away, how many people are getting sick. If it's happening to anybody, and I know that I could potentially contribute negatively to that, I don't want to do that. Like, I would be so distraught with myself if I ever found out that I had passed it on to somebody, even a stranger. Like, I don't think I could deal with that. I think it would like trigger every anxiety in my brain, and I would just go nuts. And so from that perspective, I get that people don't see numbers, but I really have a hard time understanding how people, just don't care,
Yeah, it's a really unfortunate place we are in the world, that people are able to put their comfortability, because that's like legit what we're talking about. It's how people are living comfortably over other people's lives.
Yep. Oh, dang it. We're not going to get the Taffly Master Romancer yet, because this arachnid's coming in and eating the Tafflies, but that's okay. We'll breed some more. Sorry.
rude of them.
I know, but he likes to eat the tafflies. It's fine. We need him to do that later. I was hoping to finish the tafflies before he came in and did that, but he started. So let's buy a few more candies. Sorry, you were in the middle of something. Go ahead.
No, you're totally good. Hold on, Marina's saying something.
Oh, we got 190K cases so far out of 80 million.
Wow.
For some, it's not enough to comprehend. Yeah, I mean, when you see the
Yeah.
numbers like that, you think like, oh, out of 80 million, well, that doesn't feel like that much, but it is. It is because they're people.
Yeah, 100%. And here in the United States, we're over 2 million.
Mm-hmm.
And we're 25,000 people are being tested positive a day. That's our average median
Yeah.
for right now.
Yeah.
That's a huge amount
Yeah.
of people. But because that's, tested positive and not as active as dying, and because our news cycle is so incredibly fast, and it's not enough that people are, and there's still like this idea and propaganda going around that just because you get sick doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Like, people are just kind of like, it's like the chicken pox, we'll just run it through. But
it
there's no
depends.
proof
That's not necessarily true. It depends.
Yeah, and it's also, there's no proof or anything like that as far as you not getting it again. Like,
Yeah.
there hasn't been any studies that
We don't know.
have a huge amount of data about that yet. And it's a whole thing.
Yeah, we don't really know. We don't really know in that regard. Eventually we will know, right? But this is the very first, season of it, if it turns out to be a seasonal thing. So we just don't know yet. We just don't know yet. All of that might be right.
It's a TV show.
Yeah.
Whole thing. This is season 1 of a multi-season series that's happening.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
The U.S. hasn't reported dutifully. Yeah, that's true. That's true. We've not been very good about reporting our numbers internationally. We should really be doing better with that.
We're totally not reporting it internationally, and also testing was so far behind. So, full disclosure, you couldn't get a test in Maine unless you had direct contact with someone or had been out of the country, like a positive somebody and had been out of the country up until probably 3 weeks ago.
Yep.
And now I took a test because I was traveling this last weekend, and also I need to return to work, hypothetically. It's a whole thing. So I ended up taking a test yesterday, and it's nice that they're available, but they're only just starting to be available to mass public people.
Same here.
And it's a huge, and it's in certain areas too, and those areas are predominantly, at least here in Maine, white, and if you have insurance to cover it, it's a whole bunch of like systematic issues as well as far as that goes. So we don't even know our own numbers.
Yep.
So whatever we're reporting is false.
Yep.
Because Marina, you said that you really don't know. We've just reached over 2.27 million, and we're over 120,000 deaths.
Yeah. Yep.
So.
But we don't even know. Like, we don't even know.
Yeah. That's reported.
That's what we're reporting, but we don't know for sure. Even if we report, as close to the reality that we know, it can't be right just because we just don't have the proper testing to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a really unfortunate, and it's like super heavy of a topic too. Like that's the other thing too, is I'm feeling kind of guilty that we're talking about this so much, but it's also important.
Yeah, I mean, it is important, so it is topical right now, so of course we are. I mean, we didn't really, to let y'all know, we didn't really plan this. Literally, like, after the first stream that I did last week, and I was like, oh, that went kind of well, and it was kind of fun. And, I had tried to start streaming before, but I just never really took it seriously. And I was like, I'm going to take it seriously this time. I know it's something I need to do for my channel. I know it's something that I need to do to grow my brand. I'm going to actually do it. I'm going to for real do it. So I asked Landon, since I know that, and she likes to do this type of stuff, right? She enjoys this type of performative stuff like I do.
I just enjoy hearing the sound of my own voice quite a bit.
So when I was like, hey, I'm going to do this, and it would be cool if I had somebody to talk to while I'm doing it, just to make it, more fun and engaging for you guys, something more interesting to watch back later. I was like, do you want to do it with me? And she's like, yeah, hell yeah, basically. I mean, you said you had more detail in that, but that's the summation of it, right? So we didn't plan anything. We didn't plan anything. I just told her, well, this is what I did last time. Here's the VOD if you want to go watch back. If there's anything that you can think of that I need to do differently that's like really awful, like please tell me. I don't know of any topics I want to pick, but if you think we should do that, then whatever. But like, we're like, well, I don't know. You know, we're both boomers when it comes to the streaming stuff. So we were just kind of like, sure, and let's just wing it. And so then we decided, okay, and we'll wing it. And so that's what we're doing. We didn't plan really anything. We were just like, let's just come on and hang out and go for it that way. Now we did put out a small PSA where, because something that happens in the Discord server, and I said this at the beginning of the stream, but for those that weren't here at the very beginning, I do a lot of roleplay help questions, like people have questions and situations that they want to talk about in my Discord server, but for a lot of people, their roleplay identity is super tied to Discord, right? So some people are really nervous to ask the questions. It feels very public. It feels like, oh, someone might find out that I asked this, or somebody might think I'm stupid, and, da-da-da-da-da, stuff like that. And this, I figured, well, maybe we could do some roleplay help on here too, because it's a lot more anonymous, right? Like people can come in here and talk about that stuff without it necessarily being tied directly to their Discord. We can kind of do it behind the scenes, right? So I needed someone to help with that as well. So that's also why Landon is helping me. She's managing that Discord, so that if you guys do want to come on and vocally talk with me, you can go through her, and she has the ability to set it up and do that. But that's it. That's like all the... Oh, no! He's eating one of the romance candy ones. Dang it! But anyway, that's kind of the impetus for bringing someone else on here. It's and to make a more engaging stream and to help with making sure if you guys want to come on here that you can, that you have a venue to do that through, and Landon is that venue.
I'm waving. You can't see it because I don't have a webcam, but I am waving and just being like, yes, tell me.
Yeah. So if you guys, do want to do that ever, reach out to her and we'll set that up for whatever the upcoming stream is. Yeah, eventually we probably do need to figure out how to get you a camera and get you on here. I don't really know how to do that. I know it's possible. Well, he residented up, so he's done eating them. Cool. That'll give us some more experience anyway, so that's good. I know that other people do that. Like, I've seen other streams where they bring on a guest and you can, like, see the guest as well. But I don't know exactly how they set that up in OBS, so I would have to... Not only do we have to actually get you a webcam-type camera, but I would have to, technology-wise, figure out how that works. So maybe that's something we'll try to do in the future, but as of right now, it's unknown.
My laptop has a decent camera, so that wouldn't be it. It would just be trying to figure out the backlogs of this. But I'm cool with being a voice to me ether for now.
Yeah.
Serious.
Yeah, until we figure that out. And I'm trying to make like small improvements each time, but like, it's a lot, and I can only do so much each week. So y'all saw, like, I fixed a few things this time. So I thought when I watched back the VODs that it looked really dark. So I fixed some things in how it was filtered so that it hopefully doesn't look as dark for you guys anymore. 5. So we have 5 of them. Okay, and then we just bred another one, then we got to get one more. And then of course the what was I trying to say? Oh, and of course the chat didn't work last time, and you can see that's working now. You could just screen capture the Discord call. Yeah, I guess we would have to see exactly how that looks in Discord, and then I would have to figure out how we translate that into OBS. But maybe I guess that's what other people are doing. Marina, is they're using Discord and they're screen capturing the cameras through Discord, I guess. I mean, that makes sense to me.
Hi there.
Yeah, we can try that. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll figure it out. But a little
like
step.
Said, we're boomers.
Yeah. One step at a time, right? One step at a time.
I also think that if you guys have any, I mean, obviously this is the 3 that was here for the last VOD too.
Yeah.
But if you guys have any topics you want us to discuss, or articles, like if you want opinions, I will gladly give them.
Yeah, like
so
I thought.
The other thing too.
I thought that was great, Ty, you finding that article, and sharing it with us. I'm happy to talk about most anything. Just to let you guys know, because I have a day job, there are a few things that I won't talk about. So I guess we can go ahead and say that now so that everybody knows. I like my day job. I want to keep it, right? And I don't want to get in trouble at work. So although I'm happy to talk about political stuff in the abstract and current events in the abstract, like we have been with COVID, I'm not going to make any comments that are like directly about the government or things of that nature. Like I'm not going to give a specific opinion about, you know, a particular person in the administration or things like that, you know. But like social political issues, current events, happy to talk about. Y'all know I do get political sometimes in Discord, so some of y'all know a lot of my opinions, but there's certain things that, because, you know, I don't want to put my employer at risk. I do care about, you know, my job and my boss and things like that, that I'm just not going to talk about certain things on stream. So I think y'all understand what I'm saying there. And Landon, I think you're in a very similar boat because of the career path that you're on as well, right?
Ooh. Yeah, well, I'll be very respectful of, obviously,
Yeah.
your chat and what you want to talk about. Hey, but hey, if anyone wants to get into discussion with me at any point in time, I have nothing to do currently but sit in quarantine. So I will politically debate things all the time, just where it's appropriate.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
See, I'm just full of drama. Hold on. The thing is freezing. There we go. Okay, You're back.
Well, I didn't hear any skip in your voice, so hopefully that didn't freeze for everybody. I work for the NHS, so yeah, exactly, Ty, and you know, I'm not going to get specific or anything, but yeah, so I have those types of considerations, and I'm sure that you do too, working for the NHS. You know, you're not gonna say like, well, there's this awful problem with the NHS, or there's that awful problem with the NHS, or whatever, even if you think it, because it's just not fair when you're working for them. It's not fair to them. It's not fair to you. It's just not going to work out that way. So yeah, that's kind of the only thing that I'm a little bit like, you know, I don't want to talk about that. But like social issues, happy to talk about. Current events, happy to talk about. Like we've been talking about COVID this whole time, and I've been very open about my opinions on it, and I don't think that's a problem or anything bad or anything that's going to get me in trouble.
Yeah, but if there's anything, especially like RP or character or anything like that too, I have not nearly been in the game as long as Karen has. No offense, Karen, but she definitely dragged me into a whole new level of RP. I was RPing a little bit before I met her, but there's another article happening.
Oh, well,
but yeah, I would love to talk about like my opinions and experiences, and maybe just give whether it's like being like, or what am I trying to say? Whether it's trying to like advocate or give as much advice as Karen, or like be like, yeah, no, Karen's right, because I'm a huge Karen hype man. So.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Yeah, Landon's selling herself short, so we've been role playing together for like 7 going on 8 years now, I think. I'm bad at math, so that might be wrong, but I think it's about there. And you were role playing for a few years before you met me, so So, you know, I mean, she's pretending she hasn't been role-playing for very long, but she's been role-playing for a hella long time, right? I've just been role-playing since I was, like, so young, and that's why I have so much experience. Like, I started role-playing when I was 11 years old, which is really too young. Like, I didn't know what I was doing, and I really had no business in the hobby at 11 years old. But, you know, the internet was a very different place then, so it is what it is. And
11 years old, huh?
Yeah. So, you know, it was very different. The internet landscape was so different then. And so you know, it's just, that's my particular situation, why I have so much experience. You know, it's just a little bit different. It's a little bit different because I'm on the older millennial side, right? And Landon's on the younger millennial side.
Yeah, I started our
Master Romancer.
Started RPing when I was 16, 15. No, wow, younger. Sorry, that's a lie. It was freshman, so I would have been 14.
Wow. Okay, so you started pretty young too.
Yeah, but I was doing I wasn't doing online. I was doing handwriting in person. My friend Dee and I had a notebook that we would pass back and forth doing Edward and Bella.
Oh my god. Okay, so y'all saw I just made the red hot by setting him on fire and then doing the water can. So that was the fun little taffly that I wanted to show you, and we did get to it before time. He's very
Pinata grew up.
He did. Oh, and we leveled up too, thank God. Landon, can you pull up? We have probably go for about another 10 minutes. I know the link didn't work for that article, but maybe you can copy and paste the URL and pull it up. I'm just curious what it says, and you can tell us. It's apparently an apolitical article about celery sticks.
It is. It's ants on a log, which is, first of all, delicious. However, the photos that are being avocado and tomato, that's an interesting mix of ants on a log. Okay.
Avocado and tomato, ants on a log.
Yeah. So, well, did you ever have ants on a log as a kid?
Yes, but I don't dislike very many foods. I'm pretty much in all foods. All foods are good foods, right? I'm here for all of it. Oh, so you can start getting these challenges. I pretty much don't do them. You get candy for these if you do them. So if you have 5 marshmallows in this time limit, like, you can go do it, but I don't bother. You just get candy for it. You just get candy. And there's no achievements because I'm not actually playing on Xbox. Anyway. But yeah, I actually don't really like celery. I'll eat it in certain things, like if it's in a chicken salad, I'll eat it in the chicken salad. And if it's in like something that I can pick it out of, like a regular salad, like a dinner salad, I'll pick it out. I'm not really a huge celery fan, so I don't make or eat ants on a log, and I never asked for them as a kid. They were served to me, and I would eat them if they were served to me, but I didn't like them, so not very much.
See, I knew there was a reason why we were friends, and it's because celery is evil.
Oh my god.
But
it's not good.
This is suggesting instead of celery that you could use bok choy and carrots, fennel.
Oh.
So it's a variation of different ways of doing the 1950s and later healthy snack of ants on a log and the different variations you can do it.
Wow.
I feel like very millennial of being like, let's take this old thing and just make it fancy.
I don't know, a tomato and avocado one, I'm not gonna lie, that sounds really delicious. It sounds kind of like Mexican. Like, I could see, you get the avocado and you put some salsa in the avocado hole, right? And you eat that as like an ants on a log version. That sounds really delicious to me.
This picture is of like avocado that has obviously been very kind of guacamole-fied, but has cherry tomatoes because it's usually raisins. So it's cherry tomatoes.
Oh, yummy.
Still has celery though, so still not winning.
No. Oh, I see what you're saying. So they have the celery, and then in the celery divot, they put the mashed avocado, and then they put cherry tomatoes on top. Yes. I understand that how it's ants on a log now. Yeah, I would not make it that way, and I probably wouldn't even call it ants on a log then, because it would just be not.
It's tomatoes on celery.
Yeah.
And then you can use goat cheese, Greek goat yogurt, cream cheese, which is how I used to have it. Cream cheese and blueberries, that's delicious.
Oh, that's
still
not
celery,
too bad.
though.
That's not too bad, though. I like those two things.
Freeze-dried vegetables. Okay. And there's fun names. Ants on a ranch.
Oh, cute.
Cream and ranch dressing with peas. Ants on a tree, which is celery sticks turned vertical, and to top each with a large broccoli floret.
Okay.
Although peanut butter and broccoli, I think, is a weird combination.
Yeah, I've never tried that, but I mean, I'm down. I'm down to try anything once. If the internet says it's good, we'll see.
Beans on a stalk, which is guacamole with black beans.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like when you start getting into beans, it stops being like snacky.
Mm-hmm. That's more like a meal, right?
Yeah. Fish in a stream, which is hummus and goldfish inside of the celery. Except my brain was like real goldfish instead of stacked goldfish, and I was just like, this got dark.
Marina Lightning Cog. Who is Lightning Cog? Did we ever establish who that was in here hanging out with us? I don't remember. Do your personal taste translate to the characters you roleplay / worlds you build? In a way, yes, and in a way, no. So yes, personal tastes do translate, but not personal tastes as in what I like in reality. It's more about what I find artistically inspiring. So I 100%, like, if I see something that I like in a TV show or a movie or in a book, roleplay is a hobby where you're not publishing anything, right? Like, I'm not making any money off of this. I'm not expecting to sell it. I'm not expecting, it to ever reach a large audience. It's always going to be a very small audience. oftentimes just one person, the person that I'm writing with. But I'll 100% like just straight up steal that stuff from popular media and put it in my role play. You know, I've talked about that in one of my videos before, and one of my favorite things to do is rip off of things that are in Animorphs, which is a kid's book that was very popular when it was out, but a lot of people didn't catch it. They didn't read it. And so people are always like, oh, this is so creative. And I'm like, haha, thanks, I stole it. But yeah, stuff, any time that we're talking about like animal transformations, I tend to put in elements from Animorphs because I just loved that book series as a kid so freaking much. Animorph plots are goldmine. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Yeah, Animorphs. It was a YA series that was kind of popular when I was in like middle school, elementary school, like pretty young is when it started. It's like 30-something books. It's pretty long, but it's essentially there's like an alien war and there's like body snatcher type aliens, and then the kids transform into animals. It's like very cool. It's very cool. Including the body horror descriptions. I mean, Animorphs, for a kid's book, it had some body horror descriptions. It did. Not very intense because it was for kids, but they were in there. So yeah, absolutely. Landon, what's your take on this question? Do your personal tastes translate to the characters you roleplay or worlds you build?
So I have to like the characters that I am writing. I don't know, and by that I don't mean like I have to like them as people, but I have to find them interesting to write. Which tends to be villains, but I have to like find interest in them and like them. So yes, I have a lot of personal tastes because I am a very, in times, predictable of what kind of characters I like. Like I said, villains. I really appreciate the villain trope.
So what you're saying is that what everybody was doing on Tumblr in 2010, you just never stopped.
Yeah, except I'd like to think I did it okay. And a lot of people could not have been writing villains in 2010.
Oh my gosh. No, you do a great job. You do a great job.
Thank you. So that personal taste translates. And the world, like, again, it goes into the inspiring. Like, as a writer, I want to be creative and I want to be allowed to create. And I want to have the world and community that inspires me to continue to write stories inside of it. So yes, personal tastes translate, but it's not so black and white. As far as like, I like this character, so I'm going to write this style character in all of my characters, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that makes sense, and I think that goes for me too. You know, it's just, I don't really know any other way to describe it. Like, it's not necessarily a feeling of like or dislike. It's kind of, for me, it's a bit of a different feeling, right? There's this feeling that you get when you see something and it's like inspiring, and that's really what draws me in is that particular feeling. Ty says she's the same. I have a very toddler-like attention span, monkey see, monkey do, so I have to enjoy it. It's very hard to power through. Yeah, I think that's for a lot of people. I think that's true for a lot of people. That kind of powering through when you're not really like feeling that, it's difficult. I do have ways that I do it, and I will do a lot of powering through. I do a lot of creative work for my day job as well, and they're paying me to do it, and they don't really care if I don't feel super inspired. like that's nice, I guess I don't feel super inspired to employ you would probably be the answer I would get, right? So I do have some ways to power through it, and I will often do that. But because I know that when it comes to role play, at least for me, that even if I'm not feeling it in that moment, there will be a moment later where I am feeling it again. So sometimes you have to power through the boring parts to get to the cool stuff again.
I find it really hard powering through character moments. I don't mind powering through world building, like especially, okay, so I'm also spoiled because I'm a mod, right? So Karen has given me this lovely platform of being able to really be a part of the world building within an RP, which means that I get heard and I get sit and like I get a say whether it's a little bit or a lot, which is really, really nice as far as world building goes. But in other people's RPs, if I have trouble with the world, I can push through that. I can either ignore it a little bit or play with it a little bit, and sometimes because I'm chaotic neutral, I can push through it. I can try to manipulate it a little bit. But when it comes to characters, I have a really tough time pushing through some of the boring parts, which is why I don't mind not writing everything. Like, there's a lot of people out there who like to write all the little things, and I like to write the big things. And yes,
Yeah.
sometimes you need the little things to hold those together and hold those plot lines together. But especially when I'm writing with the same people for years, we kind of know what those little in-between moments look like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely the same way. Like, I don't really care necessarily if we write every little thing. Some stuff can be skipped over, some stuff can be referred to later, and we just know that it happened. You know, we don't necessarily have to write out 6 different, dates for a ship that we're doing. We can just write one and then skip a bunch and then write whatever the final date is and refer to the others. That's fine for me. But I know some people don't feel that way. They want to write out every little thing.
Yeah.
So, FYI, guys, we are right about at the 2-hour mark, and so what we're gonna do, we're pretty much. Oh, there he is. I want to see what else he needs. So we're gonna kind of wrap up this conversation, and then probably close down the stream. And we'll be back, of course, next week if there's no issues. We'll be back next week at about noon. But Landon, why don't you give any other comments that you have kind of on our current topic, and kind of once that conversation is wrapped up, we'll go ahead and close down.
Okay. So I think that as far as like it comes up to like taste and stuff like that, and it comes up to who your partners are and finding the right partners and the right game style. If you are someone who really does need to you really like a certain character and you really like that trope and you really want to play everything out and you really want to stick to the world and the exact way that it's written, then that's awesome. You'll find people who also want to do that. If you are a little bit more loose on it, if you're a little bit more jumping around, if you're okay and confident with only doing a date every once in a while in a romantic RP and stuff like that, you'll find those people too. And it really is what makes your game play as far as RP goes, and being able to push through and create is going to be writing with people that you trust and that you like writing with.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's very true. There's no like one correct way to roleplay, because you're not trying to do things to a large audience necessarily. You're really just trying to, write with just a few people at once. So it's being, successful and satisfied, and as far as your taste translating and things like that, finding all of that. It's really an exercise in self-discovery, and then going out and finding the people that feel similarly to you. So I think you hit the nail on the head there as far as how your personal tastes influence it, and how that translates. It's really about knowing what your tastes are, and then going out and doing the work to find the people that also feel the same way.
Yep, exactly. And like, that's the other thing too, is that you will find them.
Yeah.
But you also have to learn how to grow. And I think that's the important part of this too, is that what I was writing and what I was interested in writing and how I was writing when I was 16, very different than at 26.
Oh yeah.
And you'll either find that because you change in a group, or how the art changes, or anything like that. You'll find that, and you'll find people who will give you what you want and what you need if you just keep looking and you stick with it, and you also are willing to adapt.
Yeah, I think that's very true. I mean, I took a huge pause from role-playing for several years, and then when I got back into it after college, it wasn't until age 27 that I found the group that I joined where you and I met, and we met, a couple of our other friends, and I really fell back into it. Like, for the couple years before that, where I was just kind of trying to get back into roleplay, I was in a lot of roleplays that I knew didn't suit me, but I just hadn't found it yet, and it took a few years. So it wasn't until I was like 26, 27 that I really found the group that I'm still with today. So I think patience has a big part of it. Knowing what you're looking for has a big part of it, and just, you will eventually find it if you keep looking.
I think that's it.
All right. Okay, guys. Well, it looks like for the game, when I level up again, which I got those two, and then I've got to go around another time, it looks like, then we'll get the sour crola. So we're ending on almost having another sour again, just like we did last time. You can see our little Sherbat's still hopping around. I didn't sell him yet. He's still hopping around in the background. So yeah, same role play time, same role play place next week. Thank you guys so much for coming. It was really fun hanging out with everybody. I'm gonna go ahead and save my game. And yep.
And very quickly, if you have suggestions as far as topics and stuff like that, you can shoot me a DM on Discord anytime you want, and I can figure out questions and stuff like that.
Yep. If you guys have topics that you want to talk about, let Landon know. She's monitoring all of that. If you guys want to actually come on the stream and talk to us about something that you're working with or struggling with, again, let her know. She's managing all of that for us. And yeah, this was really fun. Thank you guys so much. Anything else before we end stream?
I don't think so. I think everyone should just not forget to be awesome and keep at it, and you got this.
Yeah, don't forget to be awesome, guys. All right, so we're signing off. See you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.